I got a text from my sister's bestie about her and my husband loving me too much to do anything to hurt me. Plus updates. Original post. My sister's bestie told me that she feels guilty for being a snitch, but that she couldn't do this to me anymore because she thinks that I am a kind person and don't deserve this. My sister and my husband have always got along very well. They're both brilliant, both lecturers at the university, and they have so much in common. I am not stupid, but I never loved school, and I have high school education. They have become best friends throughout the years, 14 years, but never once did I feel uncomfortable about it since my husband has shown me nothing but love and respect. The opposite. Until now, I counted myself lucky that the two people that I love the most in this world get along so well. Now I feel nauseated. The bestie sent me screenshots upon screenshots of her conversation with my sister. My sister has feelings for my husband, and she appears to know that my husband feels the same way about her too. In one of the texts, my sister wrote that she loved me too much to do anything to hurt me. In another, she wrote that I am too dear to both her and my husband to do anything that would hurt me. She seems to think that they're soulmates, which is odd because the talk about soulmates came up once between my husband and I, when I told him that I didn't want us to be soulmates. He was curious and asked me why. I told him because soulmates meant that we are programmed or destined to fit together. There's no free will involved, and I want my love to come from a free space, not a predestined place. He laughed and said I love that, but apparently they're soulmates? I know that I need to talk to him, but I am dreading that. I am in so much despair right now. Edit. I am sorry I can't answer all private messages, because I don't use my phone that often. But our ages are, my husband is 45, I am 42. My sister is 38. My husband and I have been together for 16 years and married for 14. My sister is single. I am not a stay-at-home mom. I have my own business. We don't have children. My sister has 2 from a previous relationship. Now for the top advice before reading the update. You need to have an honest conversation with your husband, and if you have a hope of saving this relationship, he and you need to go low contact with your sister and you need couples therapy. Best case, your sister is suffering from limerence. Worst case, they are having an emotional or physical affair. Either way, inappropriate behavior has been happening that has been deliberately hidden from you. They say they don't want to hurt you. Behaving inappropriately hurts you. Lying about it and hiding it hurts you. They are already hurting you and they have not stopped it. I know this conversation fills you with dread, but here is the thing. It's not going to go away, and it is not going to get better until it is exposed to the light, aired out, and addressed. Just tell yourself it is like going to the ER. You can't start to heal until the injury is found and diagnosed. You have found the injury. Now you have to find what the injury consists of and start treating it. As terrible as the possibilities are, I always find that the knowing for sure is easier to deal with than having the unknown dangling over my head like Damocles' sword. That's how I always felt. I would rather know the truth. Until it happened to me, and now I don't even know what to say. If what the friend sent you is true, you need to take a moment and gather your thoughts before this talk you need to have with your husband. If possible, check his phone so you have first-hand look at the communication, not the friend's one. If real, the emotional affair is more than enough of a betrayal. Please be careful. For me, even an emotional affair is a deal breaker, unfortunately. Can you check his phone first before discussing? I did now. I told him about my sister's conversations with her best friend and showed him the screenshots. He was shocked at first and said he had no romantic feelings for her and he had no idea about her feelings, so I asked to see his phone. I read their texts and emails, and I was shocked that their contact is way more intensive and intense than I thought. They talk on a daily basis. They have lunch multiple times a week. Nothing sexual in the texts, but yeah. He is stupid if he doesn't know that she loves him, and he thinks that I'm stupid if after reading, I wouldn't get the feeling that he has some feelings too. In one of her texts, she wrote that she wished they had met first and under different circumstances. His answer wasn't totally dismissive. He wrote, yeah, it would probably have been different. When I asked him about it, he said, well, yeah, if he didn't know and love me, he would probably have been interested in another, my sister included. But he loves me and she is a close friend of his. So there's no sexual relationship between them, but I am not sure that is enough for me. I think they are both wrong and should have nipped it in the bud way earlier. Now for the first update. So now I have had some long talks and discussions with my husband. He seems to think that this is getting bigger than it is supposed to, because I told him that I needed time alone to think and digest this. He said that he doesn't understand why I am this hurt, since he loves me and nobody else. I didn't relent, however, and he admitted that he knows that my sister is in love with him because she has told him so. But she knows that nothing can happen between them, so she is fine with just friendship. Martyr. He loves her, but not romantically, and he is happy to have a friend like her. Their friendship is important to him, and he doesn't want it to end because I don't trust him and his love for me. He made a comparison to my best friend and asked what I would think if he asked me to cut my best friend from my life. He admitted that intellectually, he has more in common with her than with me, but that the heart doesn't always choose who we are more compatible, and that he loves and is physically attracted to me. I think this whole situation is messed up. I am repulsed by them both. I texted my sister all her screenshots, and she wrote that she was disappointed in her bestie and that your husband is all yours because I would never let anything happen that would hurt you because you are the most important person to me. In other words, they are both contradicting each other, since both seem to believe that they are the one who is not letting a relationship between them grow for my sake. Yeah, he is going to need to go completely no contact, and you and the children low contact. This is insanely disrespectful, like someone says that to you as a married man, and you do not continue to talk and hang out one-on-one, especially not with my sister. About the lunches, he says that it is because they both work at the university, and they eat lunch when both are in office. But that isn't true, because they don't work in the same building. OP, what assurances has he given now that he knows how your sister feels about him? Nothing. He doesn't think what he is doing is wrong, since they are just friends and I am his wife that he loves. He is lying to you and himself. He was encouraging her behavior by not shutting it down. Exactly. I feel very betrayed and helpless. Maybe I'm just Captain Chaos, but I truly think I would schedule a dinner with them both and confront right there with proof. That tells you a lot. What he knew, what she does, etc. She could be making it all up in her head, or they could be communicating. But the best way to find the truth is to confront before they have the chance to make their story cohesive. This is probably my next step, but I need to be alone with my thoughts for a while. Second update more than a month later. I have written here and a few comments about my soon-to-be ex-husband and my sister. I left him about a week after, and he texted me day and night about how much he loved me and wanted me back. Then he just stopped. That's when I found out that my sister left her children at my parents' house and moved in with my husband. This made everything come out to the rest of my family, and my parents were shocked, and my mother really looked like she was already showing PTSD symptoms. About how disgusting she felt this whole thing was. She kept calling it incest and asking, is that even legal? I guess that is how much my sister cared not to hurt me, if you read my first post. Even though I have been well composed and calm that I surprised myself, I still tried my hardest to look back on my whole life, childhood and upbringing, to understand when it all went so wrong. What my sister did felt like something that was the result of years of resentment, or at least indifference towards me and our relationship as sisters, so how did I miss that? She never cared about me, did she? If she didn't, how could I have been so blind? Then, not even a week later, I heard that they have ended things. I found out in the oddest way possible. My sister texted me, the first time she texted me since everything started. She just wrote, "You bitch. I hope you burn in life and in hell." I was very confused because she spent that week sharing cheesy, deep quotes about love and soulmates and romantic Insta stories with my soon-to-be ex-husband. But apparently that was over. Soon-to-be ex-husband has blocked her everywhere and she moved out because she came to my parents to get her children and had a meltdown when they asked for explanation. Soon-to-be ex-husband started calling and texting me again, asking me to meet because he wanted to explain, because he loved me and wanted me to understand. He wanted to meet at least once before we started to meet with the lawyers involved. So that is that. This has left me even more confused than if they just ended up together. I understand falling out and in love, breaking up and starting anew. But I can't explain this. My soon-to-be ex-husband keeps calling me his only love and true friend, and my sister, until I left, kept promising that she would never do anything to hurt me. She left her children at my parents' doorstep and didn't answer their calls or texts for a week. And all of this for a week? What were they thinking? Has anyone here heard of something like this happening? People throwing everything for not even a week? He doesn't deserve you, OP. How would your relationship come back from this when he didn't prioritize you and respect you? They most likely slept together during the week they spent together. I hope you go no contact with your sister. She sounds entitled and self-centered. She knew she was crossing boundaries, but didn't care. She abandoned her children. What kind of parent does that? I found out it was over between them because she texted me, "You bitch. I hope you burn in life and in hell." So I went on Instagram to see multiple messages from mutual friends about how they have ended it. He kicked her out. So yeah, no contact and gladly so. I swear I knew they wouldn't last, and I bet he hates her now. She clearly has issues. I just don't get it. I think on paper they thought that they should fit. They had so much in common, but it doesn't really work that way. They got caught up in something that was never real. I don't agree with the comments. Your sister still wants him. She was so in love that she left her children, and she wouldn't hesitate to leave them again. But I am not sure about your husband. He kicked her out. Maybe he saw her true colors, a psycho. Maybe he was tricked by your sister and nothing sexual happened when they were together, and he is just stupid. I don't know. You should know your husband, his weaknesses and strengths, and you still don't have any idea. Her accusation indicates that he left her to be with you, and he is sure that he can convince you not to divorce if he has the chance to talk. This is where I am confused. I wish I were a friend of his and asked him directly. I have seen many relationships, but never seen such nonsense. The feelings are usually mutual and last more than a week. I mean, two people fall in love, and they see they are not meant for each other after several months, and they mutually hate each other or feel nothing to each other. Their relationship doesn't fit this pattern. I do think they slept together when she moved in with him, but I agree with the rest of your comment. I know it is far-fetched, but what can he say if they slept together to win you back? She tripped and fell on my penis. Just once. It doesn't count as cheating? Everything is weird. You have my sympathies. Fortunately, I will never hear his excuse, and I have decided to not read any messages, etc. And when the divorce is final, I will change my number. Now for the last update. After 1 week of being in love and my sister leaving her children at my parents' door to be living in my home with my soon-to-be ex-husband and flaunting everything on social media and sharing cheesy quotes, she moved back to her apartment and got her children from my parents. They aren't friends on Facebook and he unfollowed her on Instagram. Now she is saying that I have ruined her happiness, and he started texting me again begging me to talk in private because he needed to explain everything before we started getting our lawyers involved between us. I understand that people fall out of love, and sometimes they can't control who they fall for, and they can hurt many people around them. But I never heard of two people throwing everything they pretended to care about for 1 week. Speak to my attorney. I'd have that as my outgoing voice message. I haven't answered any calls from him, his family, or unknown numbers. I don't answer any texts either. Men come and go, but a sister doing this is a freaking abomination. I could not imagine betraying my sisters like this. She ruined her own damned life. What is she blaming you for? Being married to her affair partner? I'd let her bitch ass have him. She can most certainly have him. Last story. My daughter thinks my ex-wife died. She didn't. When my daughter was 5, my ex-wife dropped her off for the weekend and never came back. No warning, no phone call, just gone. For a while, I told my daughter that Mommy was away and that she'd call soon. But she didn't. A year passed, then 2, and every birthday and Christmas and kindergarten graduation, my daughter would ask if Mommy was coming. And every time I'd say, she's busy or she loves you very much. But I watched something in her dim over time. When she was 8, I finally told her Mommy passed away. I couldn't stand the hope in her eyes anymore. I couldn't keep lying to her and watching her get crushed every time she thought a knock on the door might be her mom. She cried herself to sleep that night. I did too. The truth is, her mom lives in another state, has a new husband, and a toddler. She sends me child support like clockwork, but hasn't asked about her daughter in over 4 years. I know lying was wrong, but it was either let her keep hoping for someone who didn't want her or give her closure. And I still don't know if I chose right. Now for the advice. This is a tough one. It definitely solved a short-term problem, while creating a larger long-term one. We live in a time of cheap genetic testing, where it will be fairly trivial for her to discover she has other relatives that might lead back to her mother. Her mother may want to re-establish contact at some point, which will seem truly shocking when it happens. I hope at the very least you can discuss this with her mom, so you are all on the same page to minimize damage to your daughter, which presumably is what you all want. Seriously, what happens if mom does ever show up again, or daughter finds out the truth? She will feel utterly betrayed by dad. He created way more possible issues down the road for a little peace now. OP, you need to consider therapy for you and your daughter, and discuss with your therapist how to deal with the lie you told. But the alternative is awful for the poor girl. Your mom is still alive but didn't want anything to do with you? Send support money, but never once wanted to have you over for a weekend? Has a new baby she cares for more than you? I think I would prefer to hear she died, at least until I was older and had some therapy and could handle the truth. My son's father walked out of his life when he was 5. It's been almost 2 years now since he has spoken with him. I can't imagine telling my son that he is dead though. How do you take that back? What if she comes around someday? I told my son something along the lines of, sometimes adults make poor choices, and they hurt the people around them. Your dad wasn't ready to be a dad right now, and I hope that someday that he will be ready. Until then, you have mommy, Nana, and stepfather to love you. We will never leave you like that. I didn't elaborate where he is, new people in his life, and my son still talks about him and the memories they shared. He is hurt, but doesn't ask about his dad much. Sometimes he will say he wishes they could play hide and seek again, or go to their secret playground together. I just acknowledge his feelings and redirect after a small conversation about his dad.